What's up YouTube, Durbador Wildor here, coming at you for another video. Coming at you a project update video, because we got a lot going on around here like normal. A whole bunch of stuff going around, so I want to show y'all some of the projects we got going on. We got a new truck. We're working on a new truck. Y'all probably seen it in the background and kind of, hey, what's that truck back there? It's a new truck. I want to show y'all where we are with that. Some updates on the F-150 and some updates on the F-350 and the shop. And I've had a request for somebody wants a shop tour of, you know, my little home shop here. So we're going to go over that and go over the construction, why, and everything like that. As some of my older viewers probably know how, why all this is here like it is. My newer viewers might not know all that, so we're going to go over that in this video. The first thing, y'all probably saw this, you know, light blue Ford hanging out around here and wondering, you know, what's the deal with that thing, right? Well, this is my dad's truck. It's a 1977 Ford F-100. And it's his project, or me and his project truck, I should say. We got this in a trade deal with a neighbor. The head gasket blew, so we got a pretty good deal on it. It's a straight six, as I like all my Ford trucks to have straight sixes. Still has. And if you're not familiar with these trucks and you don't do a lot with these trucks, you would not know how wonderful it is to have the original sprayer tank, your windshield wiper sprayer holding tank right there. Those are so hard to find just in themselves. But this is a bare bones basic F100 custom. I mean, this is the base F100 right here. No power steering. I mean, no power brakes. Ha ha ha. No power brakes. No power steering. No air conditioning. This is it. There's nothing to this truck. It's the bare bones basic. And this is exactly what my dad wanted. He said he wanted the bare bones basic Ford truck F100 or F150. So I was able to swing a deal with my neighbor to get him this truck. Go right there. Oh, F100. And the interior is really the big selling point on this truck right here. It's very nice in here. They got new panels. These panels are worth a small fortune. You know, the seat's already been redone. Interior's been redone. Somebody already put a radio in here. It's still got a headliner and everything like that in here. You know, it's just, and it's still got, you know, an actual dash. It's not cracked to 100 pieces. So it's just a great deal. And it's exactly what he wanted for a truck. And it's the bare bones basic. I mean, it is a single cab long bed. So it is the absolute base of base models. 2-wheel drive, 3-speed on the tree that somebody poorly converted to 3 on the floor. And we are going to eventually buy the stuff to make it 3 on the tree again like it's supposed to. Moving on to the F-350 here. Nothing has happened with the interior. It does run drive stop, and I've used it on several jobs just as another truck. You know I don't need everything my F-150 has. Sometimes I'll take this instead. I was able, see, we'll talk about the washer tank. This came out of an 89 F-150, and I just stuck it here because it uses the same plug and the same pump and everything, and I hooked it into the sprayer system. I found at the junkyard. This is not terribly difficult to find, but it's not rare, but not easy to find. It's the air conditioning mount brackets for a Ford FE engine, and they're not the easiest to find in the world. So when I saw them at the junkyard, I grabbed it. And as you can tell, this didn't originally come with air conditioning because I only have the 2-groove pulley, but that's fine. I will fix it and we'll make it into a 3-groove pulley. The cab is a 77 model with air conditioning, so obviously if you got the air conditioning box, you need to hook it up. As y'all probably saw, the F100 did not have this big box over here. For those of y'all who don't know, this box right here, if you have this box in your Dentside or 70s Ford truck, this is the box that would have your air conditioning evaporator in it and your heater core right there. That's how you can tell it's a factory air conditioning system. One issue I did have with this is previous owner got the charge line for the alternator caught underneath the valve cover and smashed it down in the valve cover. So I had a battery drain for a really long time. I was trying to figure out what it was, and I could never figure it out until one day I was driving down the road and the whole truck just shut off completely. Like, phew, just done. Like, it was just done for the day. Everything shut off. I was like, well, it's probably the fusible link. So right here, there was a fusible link. I think they're stupid. So I put this easily replaceable 30 amp regular size fuse in here. And I was like, well, fusible link probably tripped, so I'll cut out the fusible link. Dropping my phone don't help here. I would cut out the fusible link and just hardwire it so I can get back home and figure out why it tripped later. Well, when I went to put those two wires back together, the exposed copper just evaporated as soon as they touched. So I knew I had a dead short somewhere in the truck. So I started looking around, and I saw this wire jammed up underneath there. And so that's when I pulled it out, and it was just exposed copper rubbing on the valve cover, and that was my dead short. So fortunately, I broke down right next to the O'Reilly's, and I went over there, got all the stuff I knew I needed to fix it. I took a piece of styrofoam and did that right there to kind of insulate it away from, you know, kind of just put some space between it and the valve cover. And I used some liquid electric tape and covered it with liquid electric tape. And this is my semi-permanent fix. It's really not a permanent fix, but it's a semi-permanent fix, because really this truck, the F350, I'm not planning on doing much of it this year. I've kind of put into it what I'm going to do for it this year and leaving it. Right? It runs, drives, stops, does everything it needs to do. So not dealing with the 350 this year. I'm gonna wait till next year to really put a bunch of money into it. So that brings us over to the F150, which is my main rig. This is my baby right here. And as we look at the paint, I can show y'all where I kind of goofed. You can see clear coat coming off, and the black, you know, clear coat's ripping off the black stripe. We got goofed up clear coat. And the reason we have goofed up clear coat is because stupid me tried to clear coat a single stage paint. I painted these trucks roughly about the same time. You can see 350 no clear coat looks amazing. F150 with clear coat, now a year later, looks like crap. So, oops, I goofed up. It's okay. I will sand it down next spring and reshoot it. It'll be much easier because I know a lot more what I'm doing now, and I'll just get some new decals to put on there, and we'll rock and roll. We'll knock it out. New boxes. These were definitely needed for a very long time. Nice underbody boxes from Tractor Supply. 48-inch, 14-gauge steel powder coated boxes. These things are so much better than those cheap Chinese aluminum boxes. They're much heavier duty. They're much more sturdy. I mean, everything about this box is just a million times better than those aluminum ones were. And you can see I did some of the same remounting, like, you know, hold my gas can here onto the back, and the same for my cooler. I keep my rod in some junk bucket right here. This is great for getting tailgaters off your butt, because you hit a bump and then you see this bucket doing this number right here behind your truck. They slow down pretty quick. So since these boxes come back so far, I can no longer run a ratchet strap over the edges easily, especially with the cooler over here, like I used to. So what I did, I installed some simple D-rings, small ones right here, light duty ones, there and there. You can see the little one back there, and it holds things like my umbrella in place and some small material I might put here. I have my heavy D-rings right here. There's one, there's two, plans to install 3 and 4 eventually, so you can run straps over stuff as needed. And I know some people gonna be like, you should have put a plate underneath it. Yes, I should have, but the whole fact is, with this truck, it's not going to be hauling something that would go under that much of a shock load, that it's not going to make any difference with this truck, because nothing that big is going to be back here. in the middle, replace the aluminum box with a cobalt job box. Much happier with this, and it's blue, so it looks really good. It matches the theme of things. You can see I have a box fan back there, a blue box fan. And of course I got a blue cooler that matches everything. When I put this box on here, I had to actually cut out and lower my filler neck. You can see I just cut that whole thing out and whoop, dropped it, because the door, the way the door closes, you can see it drops right there. Or when it opens, I'm sorry. But look in here, got my suitcase, fits in here. One of the things I like about having a bigger box, my suitcase can be right here where it's easily accessible at all times. I kind of had to make a new T-rig attachment system. You can see, so quick connect, it runs over to a lug. Reason I did that, well, several reasons I did that. I hate clamping the stinger onto stuff like that. It's really irritating to me. I just think it's stupid and dangerous. I never really liked it. And also, I now run a V-stinger. Much happier with the V-stinger. This is my favorite stinger I've used. I just can't go back to a normal one now. And I have new ground clamp on here. Brand new ground clamp. One of the things that I did when I got the suitcase, I noticed I had to do is I had to get a new ground clamp and cable and everything, because you know you need a good ground for suitcase to work right, so it can properly read the voltage and voltage can properly get across, because that's how wire works. And so at the same time I was like, well, my stinger's kind of crappy too, so I'll buy a nice stinger that's meant for the outdoors and something, you know, it's just a rig truck level stinger. So I bought a nice stinger, and yes, somebody's gonna be like, ha 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 ha, your stinger is actually nicer than your welding machine. Well, you know, yep, that's fine. I don't care. The old Hobo Champion Elite here works just fine, and you know, it's painted blue. So it being painted blue, it matches everything and it looks really good. So, over here, all the way we go. Nothing really changed under here. I started using Motorcraft oil filters. They seem to work better as far as their drain back valves. Their anti-drain back valves work better. Doesn't take 2 or 3 seconds for oil pressure to build. I get immediate oil pressure now. And I started using full synthetic Rotella 15W40 in here. And just a couple of changes like that, I went from 11 miles to the gallon to 13 miles to the gallon. I know nobody's going to believe that, but it's the truth. I really did gain 2 miles to the gallon by simply switching to synthetic oil. All right. Waiting for air conditioning. I ordered a air conditioning kit from Original Air. Comes with all the parts. I'll do a video on that when it shows up. Comes with all the parts. You'll have a brand new air conditioning system in here. Because it's a necessity for your main work truck to have air conditioning for sure. And this truck I definitely want to have. This truck's going to get air conditioning before this one, before the 350 does. Because this is the one I use, and even when the 350 is done, as much as I love this 350 right here, love it to death, the 150 will still probably get used more than the 350. Alright, so we're now inside the shop. The original shop. This is the old part of the shop that I had for a very long time. I started out with. This is a 8x24, I believe. Yeah, 8x24 shop. It was originally going to be a chicken pen, and we kind of refitted it into a welding shop because we realized welding was going to make more money than chickens. So a lot has changed in here. We now have a shop microwave, a shop refrigerator, shop air conditioner, big exhaust fan, decorating stuff out, pegboards full of tools and safety gear and stuff. I now keep material in this part of the shop. You know, keep my aluminum on its own aluminum dedicated rack, right? Not that the aluminum is so important it needs to be so separated from steel, but there's nothing more annoying than little rust from steel on your aluminum. It irritates me. So I made aluminum racks for aluminum and steel racks for steel. And we got those back here where I can keep all my nice pieces of steel here in the shop out of the weather. And of course I keep my main welding machines in here in the shop out of the weather. So this whole area is kind of converted into a little break room, if you will. Kind of a spot where me and the guys were working. We can just kind of come in here, sit in front of an air conditioner, and chill out, but not be in a spot that's like going in the house where it's so cold. You get that sick feeling from going from being really cold to really hot to really cold. This area kind of makes a good middle ground for us to sit down, chill out, get some drinks out of the refrigerator, and kind of have a chill in between projects and whatnot. This area of the shop really ain't much has changed. Just stuff. Lots of parts. I've been going to the junkyard and collecting lots of parts. There's a lot of Super Cab specific parts in here. Like I have the extra Super Cab windows because they're not easy to get a hold of. Extra air conditioning control switches, you know, dash pieces, headliner pieces, air boxes. There's all sorts of dent side Ford truck parts in here. I've organized this shelf and this shelf right here. This got all my special miscellaneous parts. I have this big DC converter. I don't know why. I just have it. All my automotive stuff down here. Here's an intake, a 4-barrel intake for a Ford FE series. I wonder what truck that's going to go on. Ha ha ha. Extra tools, stuff, and the drill press and bench grinder, which the drill press will unfortunately soon be, well, if for the drill press, will soon be obsolete because I'm getting a mag drill and I will not be using that much anymore. All my extra nuts and bolts and stuff, I go to Tractor Supply and I buy a bunch of whatever size and I just fill these up. So I have, you know, lag bolts, 1/2-inch bolts, 5/8 bolts, 7/16, 3/8, 5/16, quarter, 3/4, all these different bolts here. And then I have the little small hardware bolts kit from Harbor Freight that has all the little teeny tiny little screws and bolts and stuff. Believe it or not, that thing has come in handy, you know, especially having the little tiny machine cotter pins and stuff. That thing is actually a lot more worth the money than I thought. And of course I have a tower doohickey, so if one of the vehicles breaks down, I could take that and weld it to the bumper and tow it home. And so now, if I trip on stuff, we're going to go out here to the new part of the shop, which the new part of the shop is basically a bunch of angle iron I had left over from jobs that run up to the old shop, are bolted into the old shop with brackets supporting them like so, all the way down, that run to some 2x2, some 1.5 by 1.5 square tube that is then cemented into the ground across like so, all at pretty much the same height. And then all these extra support pieces that go across. Eventually the plan is to have all this walled in, including all the way around here and even right here. And I'll just have 2 big doors over there that we can open and 2 big doors over here we can open, so it still becomes a breezeway that you can drive through. Either, you know, they be sliding barn doors or they be, you know, doors that swing open, whatever is easiest at the time to get to work, just so we can keep this a breezeway. Even when I build the shop and start putting concrete in here, everything in this shop is going to be set up to, all the tools will be up against that wall, all tools and tables will be up against this wall. That way you can still bring in equipment in here and work on it, because I want to keep open floor space for working on tractors, equipment, trucks, and things like that. We walk out here, we can see I got a bunch of steel for a couple projects sitting out here. But that's not why we walked out here. We walked out here because I'm going to talk about my next ambitious plan for the shop after it's walled in. And this will probably be later next year that I do it. But it will be the massive overhang, which is basically just going to be a big roof. Because once all that's walled in, I still want to be able to easily get bigger stuff in here. Like I want to be able to get a 10-wheel dump truck in here and back a 10-wheel dump truck up in here and work on it. So the next ambitious plan will be connected to this shop, basically freestanding but connected, will be a shelter comes up like so and over and down over here, with a roof and walled in on the sides a little bit to keep some shade, and they'll have some exhaust fans up there, but it'll be open face, so you can back in a 10-wheel dump truck or a trailer or whatever, back it in and drop it here, and I just open the doors to the shop and boom, it's right here, it's in the shade, it's covered, and that gives me even more working space right out here that's covered. So then I'm not so dependent on the whole drive-through idea, but the sides of it will be open, so you can still drive through and around if you need to, but it'll be just this big covered area that makes an additional area that gives you more working room around something and gives you more floor space in this part of the shop. So if you gotta have multiple projects, I can work on 2 big projects in here at once. All right, maybe 3. That's pretty good considering how small the shop is, right? Because I can work on that F100, and I had a tractor here I was working on that was backed up right here, and I was working on it and tacking a few small things together. So yeah, 3 projects at once in this size of shop, which some people will be like, oh, it's kind of a small shop. You're right, it is kind of small, but I'm already thinking about the future and getting more space. So ideas for the whole covering area. I know some people are going to be like, get a big carport. You have freaking no idea how much carports cost. I've looked into it. It's insane. I'm going to be better off just building my own thing than carports. I could not believe how much carports cost when I went and looked at carports. I was like, oh my goodness. Even used ones people want a small fortune for. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to build my own. That's why I built this. I was thinking about just getting a big carport and working out of that, but dang, it's expensive. I didn't even spend over $500 on all this right here. I got the lights for free, right? I got those lights for free. They were ditching them at a hangar up at the airport, so I got them for free. I got the refrigerator from the same hangar and the air conditioner from the same hangar, right? So, you know, I try to save money where I can. We go over here. This is my future plan for the shop. As you can see, it says 5x10, but I'm going to change that. It's actually going to be a 4x8 table because 5x10 brings the table out too far, and I won't actually be able to fit a trailer in here. My rule is I have to be able to take my 16-foot trailer. It's on the other side of the truck, and I have to be able to drive that all the way through the middle of the shop and drop it and be able to work on almost the entire trailer completely covered. That is my rule for in here. All right, and then we can see what will be the part of the concrete pad that's going to be over here. We'll have my sheet brake, a CNC plasma cutter, probably the 2x2 by Langmuir Systems, and my pipe bender. I'm going to make a proper stand for the pipe bender and put it over there. Then I'm going to have my 20-ton press. Then I'm going to set up a 12-ton press just for weld testing. And then connecting right here, there'll be a pad coming across right here, which I might put a big drill press there, but I'm also, like I said, I'm getting a mag drill, so I don't know if I will actually be using a big drill press once I have a mag drill. So it's kind of one of those things where I think the mag drill is more multi-purpose than a giant drill press, so this particular spot right here might actually just get completely skipped. And as you can see, the way that's set up, all the tools are on either side. You can pull all the way through and work on everything and get to everything, and all your tools are where you need it and whatnot, and really simplifying the whole shop setup to what I need and what I'm going to use, and kind of, you know, like, I don't need that table. I don't need that table. I need one good fabrication table, one good 4x8 fab table on concrete. Then I need not my jinky sheet brake, but a real sheet brake bolted down to the floor over there, and then a CNC plasma cutter over here, because I really want to get into CNC plasma cutting. There's not a lot of people around here that do it. All right, guys, that's the shop tour and the truck tour and everything for this part of the year. Be sure to get in the comments, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your ideas and what you got. I know there's probably better CNC plasma cutters than Langmuir system. If you have a CNC plasma cutter, be sure to drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think, because that's really the direction I'm going for shop stuff, and I really want to start doing CNC plasma cutting next. And yeah, drop your comments. Let me know what you think, guys, and thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and you guys have a fantastic day.